There's a knee.
Let's go.
The game is over. The Panthers come back for the second week in a row against a Big 12 opponent. But this one is much more important because, after all, it's the backyard brawl.
The voice of Bill Hillgrove on the Pit Radio Network. 50-minute mark on the Fan, brought to you by South Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Route 19 in Peters Township, celebrating 50 years in the South Hills. And Bill Hillgrove with us right now. Bosticking with us until 9 o'clock. Bill, how you doing
today?
Why
are you so pale, Crowley?
I'm not. Well, I'm always pale. Irish.
Well, when he said it's the knee, the game, Billy, that was a great call, man.
Yes, it was.
Well, that was some fun on Saturday.
It was a classic, and I expected it to be that, and it turned out to be. I mean, you know how some fans can be, and they always look at, or not, some fans always look at the cup as half empty. And I think one post I saw on the internet was that, well, if the other guy played quarterback, you wouldn't be in these positions. Okay. But, it was unbelievable. I just, hard to put it into words, to tell you the truth.
And for us, apparently, too. I wasn't going to ask Bill another question.
I want you to talk.
You want me to do it?
I want you to interact
Can
with
I ask a question?
Oh, boy, here it comes.
Yeah. How did the payoff on the bet go?
We're working on that. For those of you who don't know, now I have to watch 13 and 9 for the second time in my life, from start to finish, surrounded by Pitt fans, and I'm sure surrounded by cameras and things of that nature.
Goodness.
Bill, we're gonna find a time where there's like a downtime in the schedule, sports-wise, where we can
1st?
make this a big event. It could be December 1st. Yeah, that would be fitting. I guess if I had a question to get away from me being a total and complete and utter loser, where did this stack up for you? I know it's it's still in the immediacy of this, but among the classic backyard brawls that you've been able to witness, where does this kind of stack up with some of the better ones that you've seen?
Well, in terms of Pitt season, it's pretty close to the top because, Pat and I and a lot of Pitt fans talking before the season, if we can get through September 3-1, we'll be in pretty good shape. And now they have a chance to do even better. So, from that perspective, it's up there. The only other comeback close to that, and I know the Navy game, but, the backyard brawl in 1970, that was, incredible. There are so many good ones that, and I'm sure from the West Virginia perspective, there are a couple as well that stand out, and you don't have to even refer to the year, just refer to the score, and people say, "Oh yeah, I know that game," but it's pretty close to the top.
Bill, we got Youngstown State on Saturday, and then the team heads into the bye week, and you kind of reassess at the bye week and see what you did well in the first little portion of the season, and see what you could fix. In your opinion, whether it's Pat Narduzzi, Cade Bell, Eli Holstein, the defense, Desmond Reed, what has impressed you so far in these first 3 games?
I think the big thing that's impressed me is that Bell's offense, which worked so well at Western Carolina, translates to a Power 4 situation just as well. It's an attitude on the part of the players. Desmond Reed kind of said it after that Cincinnati game. I'm a good football player, and no matter where I play, I feel I'm pretty good, and I think that's a good attitude to have. They've got to work on up front. West Virginia, by and large, beat them up front both ways, and I think they've got to do some things to seal that. And those pre-snap penalties are just drive killers, and you've heard Narduzzi talk about that. But I think those are the two things that stand out.
Billy, you had a picture on the ledge in front of you in the booth last weekend. You got inducted into the Pitt Athletics Hall of Fame with your longtime friend and the late great Dick Groat. How special was the entire weekend for you from Friday evening through the final bell on Saturday night?
Going into it, I felt that it was daunting, that it would be, do I leave the emotion in the Peterson Event Center and not take it down to Acrisure Stadium? That was one of my concerns, but it all worked out very, very well. And what can I say? I mean, I didn't become emotional, and I'm glad I didn't at the dinner. But that video that they made for me and Dick, I watched it yesterday with my daughter, and we both cried. You know, it was pretty darn special. And you realize how special he was, and for me to be associated with him as his partner for 40 years, it's almost like the stuff that dreams are made of. And I you know, and then of course you know, the win helped a lot as well. So you know, I'm glad that Pitt was able to recognize Dick and myself, and you know, I'm kind of lost for words.
Do you ever stop and think about your career, or is it always the game in front of you?
You know, I'll borrow Mike Tomlin's page. You know, it's tough to be reflective if you're still doing it. And so this did make me reflect on that part of my career. And, you know, just the whole idea of the Big East and Rosie O'Grady's and winning a couple of tournament championships after losing so many. The first time Ben Howland took us to the final game against Boston College, we had no legs left because we were playing 4 games in 4 nights. And Dick and I had to go to Macy's and buy shirts because we only brought 3 dress shirts to New York, and we had to have a 4th. Of course, in those days, you know, we dressed like the coaches did, and now that's kind of passé. Now it's gear, and that's fine too.
Bill, appreciate you coming on. We love doing this every week. Have a good call on Saturday, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. H2P.
Thank you, Billy.
There he goes.
The great Bill Hillgrove.
That was great.